Hello, everybody, and a warm welcome to this webinar where I will talk about how Lime CPQ can help you with making your sales really smooth. And who am I? My name is Fredrik Eriksson, and I work as a product manager at Lime Technologies. I work with add-ons to Lime CRM, and CPQ is a new one, the latest one. And I'm really excited to be here today talking about that with you. And I've been at Lime for about a decade, and I dare say that this is one of the most exciting things that I've had the pleasure to work with during my time here at Lime. So let's dive right into the agenda. We have quite a packed one, but first, of course, we start with the why. Why CPQ, and why we at Lime decided to do Lime CPQ. What exactly is Lime CPQ? Very important part of the agenda today. I will demo it for you, show you how it works, and I'll also talk about how this is one piece of the bigger puzzle that you can lay with Lime CRM. At the end, of course, a bit of a summary of what we've been talking about and seeing, and also, if there is time, I will take some of the questions that you might be writing. There is a possibility in this webinar tool that we're using to write a question. And please do so. I have my little helper, Magnus, who's also my manager. You might have seen him in other webinars before, Magnus Fagerlund, and he's here to help you answer questions as we go. But today is my little helper. And if there are any good questions that I think we should lift up also and talk about at the end, let's do so if there is time for it. I hope this sounds good. And well, wait, before we start, what is CPQ anyway? Another one of those three-letter abbreviations, but what really is it? Let's start there. So C stands for configure. It's all about making it possible for the sales rep to easily configure which articles, which products that are part of the deal that they're working on. P stands for price, and the idea is that the CPQ tool would help you calculate the price correctly, so you don't have to bring out your calculator to get everything correct. And of course, Q is quote. We should land in a quote that you can send to your customer once we're done. So let's get back on track here with the agenda. And why is CPQ important? Well, it's a lot about the sales rep. So here is Paul. Now he just got hired as a sales rep. So he's a new guy at the office. And being so, there is a lot to learn. Now, Paul, he wants to learn a lot. He wants to learn how to become a superstar sales rep. He wants to be great at getting to know customers and understand them, talk to them, so that he can learn about their pains and what he needs to help them with. So we can present the solutions that he and his company might have for them to address these pains. And find those solutions together with the customer and make sure that they are in a better place afterwards. But instead, he has to focus on trying to figure out which products do we actually sell? What is the actual price of them? Where do I find that? And where do I find the information about the product? What can it do? Which information should I put into the quotation that I need to send to the customer? And by the way, how should that quotation look? Who at the office has the best looking quotation that I should go copy and then start putting away an hour to edit to make sure it looks really good? And once Paul has found out all about this, he needs to bring out his pocket calculator to do some math, to calculate the price, get the discounts correct, make sure his margins, if he has energy left to focus on them, are solid, and so on. And the thing is that his manager, Caroline, she can't really help him improve because there is no data to look at and analyze. There's no way to analyzing his recent quotations, what he has been doing when he won the case, when he lost the case, and so on. So it seems that Paul's dream about becoming a superstar sales rep is slowly drifting away. It's going to be really hard for him to reach that dream. And this is something we at Lime don't really like. We don't want Paul to be in that situation, or other sales reps out there just like him. We want it to be simple. We think that it should be easy to find the information about your products, the prices, and the information. You should have that in one place, meaning that you don't have to bring out an Excel sheet or use other tools and jump back and forth between the CRM system and other tools to just to produce a quotation that you can send to your customer. And this would, of course, mean that it's easier to onboard new sales reps. We also think that a sales rep should spend less time on administration and more time on building relationships with customers and prospects, and that it should be easy to produce a good-looking quotation. And, of course, new sales reps out there, just like Paul, they should be able to get the help they need from their managers. So it should be easy to keep track of margins and analyzing the data behind the quotations that you send out, so you can find insights and that the manager is able to coach you better and during your follow-ups. So what exactly is Lime CPQ? As I already mentioned, it is an add-on to Lime CRM, and it's for sales reps and sales managers. Lime CPQ is a quick way to generate error-free quotations. It is a gas pedal for your sales process, and it is a fundament for follow-ups and coaching of individual sales reps. And we believe that it can be summarized with the phrase smooth selling. It should be easy to send a quotation to a prospect. So let's have a look at what it actually looks like in reality. So here I am in Lime CRM application, and let's start with the foundation of it, the articles. So we have article groups and articles. Let's have a look at the articles. So here I'm looking at all the active articles that I have. I have sorted them into different article groups, and they have, of course, an article number, description. They're sold in kilos or units or hours. They have a price and also perhaps a cost price. And based on those two, of course, we know which margin we have. And if I open one of them, make that a little bit wider, then you see down here at the bottom, there is something called quotation information. Now, in my demo here, I have two fields here. I have one shorter text and one a bit longer. And keep those in mind because you will see them again later during the demo. So let's pretend I am a sales rep at a company selling coffee machines and, well, everything you need around coffee at an office. I can see here that I have 5 customers with a decreasing trend, meaning that they have bought less from us so far this year compared to the same period last year. And let's go into one of them here. I have a deal I'm working on. I have talked a little bit to them, and it's time for me to send a quotation to them. So right now I am in the phase demand analysis, and I've been talking to them before, and it's time for me to head over to the quotation tab up here and start adding which articles it is that I believe that we should help them with, that they need to buy from us. So let's start. I'm going to choose an article group. Let's start with machines. And here they are. I could search for item number or give the description. Oops, I misspelled that. Groovy grinder, there it is, double O's, of course. I think they need 3 of them. I see the price is fetched from the article card, and I can give a discount. I also see here that my margin right now is 27% roughly. So I'm going to go ahead and give them a discount of perhaps 300 euros per unit here. And that is about 5% discount. Brings my margin down a little bit, but I think it's a solid margin still. So that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and add that one. Oops, sorry. Let's add another coffee machine and give a little discount on that one. Really great margin on this machine. Great one. So, of course, we need to install them as well. So we have coffee services and pick installation. So I can edit the description here if I like to, and it will this is sold in hours, of course, not units. That's machines. So let's say it takes about 8 hours. We'll add that. Important to remind the customer about is, of course, that water will be turned off during installation. So let's add that as well. Very popular is our coffee tasting session. Let's throw in that. And of course, they need something to drink the coffee from, the custom logo mug. And here I'm going to give a discount in percent instead. Let's say they get 10% on mugs. Great margin, as you can see, on selling mugs. Let's throw in another set of mugs. And of course, let's not forget, they need some coffee. Let's see what we have. Oh yeah, the New Orleans, that's a popular one. This is sold in kilos. I think 100 kilos will last for a while. And 60% margin on coffee, that's super great. So we can actually afford a 30% discount, looks super, and I'm still having a solid margin. So let's add that one too. All right, so here we are. Now we've built up the quotation. All the math is done, and I can see that the total excluding tax is roughly 30,000, and the total is about, with including taxes, 38,000. So this is good, but there is some more information that I would like to have in the quotation, so I'm just going to edit that, add that here. Some extra information, great. And now I'm ready to actually create the quotation document. So I'm going to pick a template. I have a few to choose between. I'm going to use the coffee quotation one and simply click generate. All right, here is the document. Now, since I'm using live docs in Lime CRM, which is a great feature, I could immediately just go ahead and save this copy as a PDF. So I can send it out using Lime eSign. But before we do, let's open it and have a look at the actual document. Just gonna switch to the browser. I like that. PDF viewer better. So here it is. Look at us, a happy gang. We're selling coffee. Then if you drink a lot of it, that's how happy you are. A word from our CEO about us, and some details about this, what's actually included. You can see that I get the additional text, so I don't have in here, so I don't have to open a document and start editing it. And if I then would come back and want to change the quotation, then I would have to edit the document again and so on. It's there. It will always be included when I generate a new document. Some information fetched from Lime regarding who I'm selling to, the customer and the contact person, and some information also fetched from Lime regarding me, the sales rep, some dates, and the actual details. All the articles I added and their price and discount. And this is, of course, completely configurable in your Lime CRM, which details, which level of detail you want to include in this document. Some of you would like a very detailed view. Some of you would like not so detailed view. Just list the things that are included and the total price and the total discount, perhaps. And that's possible to do. It's just about how the template is built. And for some of these articles, I actually have on the article card, if you remember, we looked at these texts I had on the article card. Those are fetched, and for each article that has such a description, we will list them at the end, so you get that information into the quotation automatically as well. In this case, it's for the machines, the groovy grinder, and the blend-in blender. All right, so I think that looks good. Let's close these, and let's send it out using Lime eSign to get the document signed digitally. And actually, I'm not going to sign it myself. Instead, I'm going to switch things around here. I'm going to add Magnus, my manager. He has to sign it first, so I'm going to put him first. And once he has signed and thinks everything look good, then it's going to be sent out to the customer art. And lastly, I want our CEO to sign once the customer has signed. And I could choose bank ID, or let's leave that checkbox this time. Let's send it out. All right, it will now be sent out. They will get emails, Magnus first, of course, and then once he signed the others about signing this document, so I can get it signed as fast as possible. Now, of course, I have pushed the deal into a phase quote, so I'm going to go here and click quote. And you want to create a to-do. I'm not going to do it this time, but it's good that I have a reminder. All right, now let's fast forward a little bit. Let's pretend that the deal is now signed. And what I would like to do then is to create an order based on my quotation. So I simply, on the deal still, go to the tab Orders. And here is nothing now, but let's change that. Let's click plus. And I will see all the details from my quotation are pre-filled with all the information. And I can still add something. Usually I just add some kind of free item. Maybe they will enjoy this. Coffee lovers as they are. We got sent to them here. So let's throw in that on the order, and the customer reference, it could be a project number, it could be the name of a person. I'm just gonna type Art here because that's the name of their CEO, and then create the order. I can still change something now that I have created the order. I can still change it, but once I think it's finished, looks good, which I probably do now, I will simply click Ready to be sent, and this means that if you run one of our standard integrations to an ERP system, then you would have this order picked up and sent into your ERP system to create an order and also an invoice directly if that's what you want. So it will be very smoothly transferred to your ERP system. All right, that was the flow of me sending a quotation on a deal. Now let's look into the part where we can follow up a little bit more on what have recently been done. So let's head back to the start page. And I have a different start page here called quotations, where I have some information. I have some info tiles here showing perhaps I need to follow up on these 4 quotes that I've sent out earlier, time to follow up on them. I have some signing processes that are supposed to get signed any day soon. I could see actually my quotes to follow up here, a quick overview, and here's all my pending signers. I could switch filters here. And down here, I could have a look at some graphs and some info based on all the quotations that I've been creating. So let's expand that and have a look at it. All right, I'll do this full screen. Here I see the quoted versus 1 articles per article group. So coffee machines, coffee services, how much are we quoting? How much are we actually winning? I can have a look at at the same thing, but by month instead, to see how it develops over time. I could make things a little bit more interesting by looking at the average gross margin ratio. So my average sales margin basically per article group. So we can see here that cups and mugs in the lead, best margins there. Then after that comes coffee, then coffee machines. And we can even make it a bit more interesting, saying that, okay, let's have a look at the average gross margin ratio per customer category. So we classify our customers in A, B, or C. And here I can dive into and see which margin do we actually have in the different customer categories. But if I don't think this is enough, if I want to dig even deeper, then I could go to the Global Explorer for the deal articles, which are each quotation row that I add to my quotations, and have a look at the data behind it. And here you have all the details. And I've prepared a few filters. Now I'm looking at my office. So I'm a sales manager. I'm looking at all the quotes that my sales reps at my office have been sending out. If I'm a sales rep, I could have a look at my quoted articles the last 3 months, for example. Let's stay with the my office filter. I see which deal it is. I see the status of the deal. So I could filter on agreement or rejection or the ones that are still in quote phase. I see which articles, of course, they've been selling, and scroll to the right here. Which article, which price we had in the quotation, how much discount in percent we gave, and when the quote was sent, who was responsible for the deal, and I can also compare which gross margin ratio I had on the deal or in my quote compared to the list price gross margin ratio, so the one we fetched from the article card. We can see here that I gave some discount, which means that I brought the margin down from 40% to just slightly below 35%, for example, in this case. And of course, I'm a sales manager. I could filter on one of my sales reps. So let's have a look at how Magnus is doing, for example. And now I will see each quotation row Magnus has done last time. All right, so that was it for the demo. Let's head back to the presentation, and I think it's pretty clear now that one of the best things we believe, at least according to us with Lime CPQ, is that it's part of a greater workflow in Lime CRM. So, I mean, with Lime CRM, you can capture leads from your website, perhaps using our chat software or our forms for your website. You can nurture those leads using automated flows. We could set up an automatic sync of your articles from your ERP system. If you have a lot of articles or if the prices change a lot, then of course it makes sense to sync them automatically from the ERP system. And then create quotations, use those articles to create quotations fast and easy with Lime CPQ. Get them signed digitally using Lime eSign to fasten the sales process even more. And of course, finish it off with sending the order, creating an order, get it sent to the ERP system automatically. Once it's booked as an invoice in the ERP system, our standard ERP integration would fetch it again into Lime, and you will be able to do such things as I did when I saw customers with a decreasing trend, for example. So it's really part of a greater workflow, and all these parts work very nicely together. And to make it even more interesting, we have said that if you decide to buy Lime CPQ and power it up by using Lime eSign as well, and you sign that deal before April 30th, so the last of April, then we will give you 50% off on the license for Lime eSign for 6 months. So you can really try it out together. We think that's the best way to experience Lime CPQ. And I know that some of you attending here, well, you already have Lime eSign. Well, in that case, we're going to flip it around and say that if you sign the deal to buy Lime CPQ before the last of April, we will give you 50% off on the CPQ license for 6 months. So go ahead and contact your sales responsible at Lime, or simply give us a call. Our customer service will help you and direct you and find the best possible solution for you, of course. So to summarize a little bit, we believe that Lime CPQ will save time for both the sales rep doing the quotation and for the sales manager that is responsible for making sure that margins are solid and responsible for giving active support and coaching to the sales rep. We also believe that this should reduce the amount of errors you have in your quotations, which is a money saver and time saver, just that. We believe that in this case, it's smart to have everything in one tool. And we hope that this is a way for you to find ways to make smart decisions on how to increase your margins and get other smart insights so you can do fact-based decisions. And maybe most important of all, this guy, Paul, he will be happy again. And making this quotation process simple and easy for him will allow him to save energy and to have energy left to make sure that he can exceed his customers' expectations, which is why we do what we do here at Lime. And remember, Lime CPQ is great, but it's part of a bigger picture in Lime CRM. You could easily power it up using Lime eSign or Lime BI to produce different graphs that I showed you some examples of, or connect Lime CRM to your ERP system. And these logos here are the ones that we have a standard integration towards. So that concludes this webinar, and thank you all for attending. And as I said at the beginning, I'm really happy to be here talking about CPQ. If you have any questions about CPQ, don't hesitate to give us a call at Lime. We'll help you out to find the best possible way for you forward. We have a few minutes left, so I will go through the different questions and see if there's something we should bring up as well. There are quite a few. Magnus have really been typing fast. I'm impressed. Is it combined with Lime BI, so I can send an offer here and it will more or less automatically be made in Lime BI? Yes, you send the offer using CPQ, you build up your quotation, and since that data, the quotation rows are stored in the background in the table we call deal articles in Lime CRM. Then that table is available automatically in your Lime BI. And the graphs that I showed, for example, the one here that you see now down to the right, average gross margin ratio per article group, that is just something that I decided to have a look at. I could have made another graph. So there are no boundaries in which way you want to interpret the data. The raw data, all the quotation rows are stored in Lime. You get to use them in Lime BI as well. Let's see what else we have. Do we have to use signing option in Lime? No. No, you don't. You don't have to use Lime eSign. Lime eSign is our own e-signing service. There are other e-signing services, and there are add-ons to Lime CRM for other e-sign services as well. And if you already have one of those, it's completely fine to use those. Lime CPQ will help you produce the PDF that you want to send out for signing. And if you do that through another service, that's totally fine. It's just a PDF, quote unquote. That works as well. is it possible to add comments or descriptions to individual articles? I think this might be, there are two ways to answer this question. I will try to do both here. You could do, if you remember what I did during the demo there, when I said after this, I added the installation. I think it's actually visible really, really tiny here. I did the installation of all machines, and then I added a free text row. So you can add free text rows as one of these, the rows in the quotation, where you can type whatever you want. I typed like water will be turned off. So that could be one way of adding a comment to a certain article. Or you could use the extra field that I had down here, where I put in some extra text, and that went straight into the quotation. And you could configure yourself how many of these extra information fields. You can have multiple of them right here if you want to separate different information to go into different places in the quotation and so on. So that's one option, or two options actually. The third option would be to add information that is kind of static to the article that you always want to include for this article. Then you add it on the article card in Lime, and then you can fetch that into the document template as well. All right, it's past 10 o'clock, and we will of course answer all of your questions. There have been many of them actually, which is really nice to see. We want to answer them all and make sure everybody gets an answer to everything. And if you come up with questions later, of course, just give our customer service a call, and we'll take it from there. So thanks everybody for attending, and I wish you a very pleasant Friday and then a great weekend.